Hello, I'm Cody Goggin, and welcome to the Saturday Show, where we're taking a close look at some of the finest films and greatest albums ever made. And I'm not just saying that because they're some of my own personal favorites. Anyway, today we're looking at a movie that needs no introduction. This is Frankenstein. Universal Pictures released Frankenstein in 1931. It was directed by James Whale and featured Colin Clive as Dr. Frankenstein. It was of course based on the 1818 novel by legendary author Mary Shelley. After the enormous success of Dracula starring Bela Lugosi, Universal was apt to jump back into the monster market. Originally, the role of Frankenstein's monster was expected to be given to Lugosi, but issues with the script were not acceptable to Bela Lugosi, and he left the project. Enter Boris Karloff as the monster, and film history would forever be altered. It's there that we come to our highlighted player of the week. Boris Karloff was born William Henry Pratt on the 23rd of November, 1887, in England. He would choose the name Boris Karloff for himself after finding his way to Canada. He worked odd jobs while beginning his acting career in order to make ends meet, and for his first minor role in film, he was paid just $5. His first major film role was in The Hope Diamond Mystery, and he would play in many films and serials in small parts throughout the 1920s and early 1930s. But it was the role of Frankenstein's monster that rocketed Karloff into stardom. Suddenly, he was being offered jobs in numerous horror films. Movies such as The Mummy, where he again played the title monster, and The Black Cat, where he shared billing with Bela Lugosi. The pair would meet again in The Raven. Karloff would also play Frankenstein's creature again in The Bride of Frankenstein. The third movie in that series would be Son of Frankenstein, and it would be the final time Karloff would play the Frankenstein creature. He also starred in films such as The Body Snatcher, The Terror, and the 1963 version of The Raven, which also featured Vincent Price. A longtime smoker, Karloff fell ill and passed away in 1969 at the age of 81. He leaves behind a life's work in film that rivals any of the great horror icons. His name is instantly recognizable and universally well known, and the characters that he brought to the screen are forever etched into the fabric of American filmmaking. Back to Frankenstein. For the creature's outstanding special effects, director James Whale would turn to a special effects artist named Jack Pierce. Pierce's makeup work is iconic, and he worked with many great horror actors, including Lon Chaney Jr. For the electrical effects in Dr. Frankenstein's lab, an actual Tesla coil, crafted by Nikola Tesla himself, was used. When the movie was released, it terrified audiences of the period. It was hailed as being even more frightening than the previous outing by Universal in the horror genre, Dracula. Karloff was launched into the public eye, and the image of Frankenstein was etched as the version of the monster that everyone now remembers. Followed by numerous sequels, reboots, and tributes, Frankenstein is a pillar of filmmaking that must be seen by anyone who loves these kind of movies. But if you find yourself a little scared, well, we warned you. Hey, before we move on to Album of the Week, I want to ask that if you enjoy what we're doing on the channel, if you're enjoying this video, please hit like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell. It really helps us out and we appreciate it very much. This week's Album of the Week is very important to me personally. It is, of course, Bat Out of Hell by Meat Loaf. Bat Out of Hell is the 1977 debut album from singer Meat Loaf, featuring songs written by Jim Steinman for an unproduced musical version of Peter Pan. Steinman and Meat Loaf would meet working theater together, and when Steinman presented his songs to Meat Loaf, they would form a partnership that would last off and on for their entire careers. But they wouldn't find it easy to get their album made. They shopped Bat Out of Hell to various record companies for over 2 years and were rejected numerous times. Meat and Jim would often perform the songs alone together, with Jim playing the piano for the record executives. Recorded at last, featuring members of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band and produced by Todd Rundgren, the album would feature additional vocals from Ellen Foley. Also included was legendary baseball announcer Phil Rizzuto on the song Paradise by the Dashboard Light. The album features songs about teenage love and uses incredible fantasy imagery. Bat Out of Hell is an album of extremes. Ballads such as 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad and Heaven Can Wait are set against enormous rock powerhouses like the title track and All Revved Up with No Place to Go. The album was an enigma when it came out, and still is, unlike anything else. But it sold incredibly well, mostly outside of the United States. In the UK, it stayed on the charts for over 500 weeks in a row. Depending on who you ask, it ranks somewhere between the 3rd and 5th greatest selling album of all time. That's over 40 million copies sold. Meat Loaf would become known for his wild stage performances and all-out vocal range. His theatrical presentation became iconic, and he would work with Steinman on several follow-up records for decades to come. This album changed my life the first time I heard it, and I still believe it is one of the most unique and fantastic works of music ever recorded. Cheesy? Yes. Fantastic? Absolutely. It's a giant work of art, and I definitely recommend you give it a listen. Check it out. Please don't let me leave you. No, that's always my mistake. I'm tired of a life of apologizing. I never wanted it to be this way. Dream what they refuse. Believe, please believe me. Believe we'll never lose. Time is a healer. That's what I've been told. Death will surely have a vengeance, just not before we grow old. Dream what they refuse. Believe, please believe me. Believe we'll never lose. We'll see you next time on the Saturday Show. I'm Cody Goggin. Hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it. Thank you.